I want you to imagine a thought, an unhelpful thought, as a piece of Lego. I'm Dr. Neesha and I'm a health psychologist. And in this video, I'm going to use Lego to help you understand, how thoughts are like Lego. So when you have a thought, it's like, the metaphor I'm using here is Lego. So each thought, you could say, is like a piece of Lego. And then what happens is you have that same thought again, it's another piece of Lego. Another thought again is another piece of Lego. And this could be around the same issue, but what's happening is those thoughts are multiplying. And the reason for that is that because you're focused on them. And no fault of your own, it's just the way the brain works. Whatever you focus on, it grows, it expands. And just like feelings, if you focus on a particular feeling, or that feeling, expands, it grows, it multiplies, it becomes huge over time. And sometimes what happens is that we can't see beyond that thought and feeling. And that then impacts on the way we show up, the way we act, the way we behave, and how we deal with those physical sensations that are occurring at the same time, because they do, in our body. That tightness in the tummy, that feeling of discomfort and the stomach turning, all because of these thoughts. Now, if we think about Lego, for example, the good thing about Lego is that you can then add another piece of Lego and it sticks to it, doesn't it? It stays there. And then you can add another piece of Lego, and before you know it, you've kind of like made this whole creation of Lego, by actually just focusing on it and spending time on it every day, or even a few hours a day. You end up with a masterpiece, which might look like my son's Lego, which is this car. And this is exactly, what happens with our thoughts as well. They multiply, they grow, they start to shape the lens in which we view the world, how we perceive other people, and the way we interact with people. So for example, you've sent someone a message, text message, and they've not replied. Now, you can see they've checked it because you've got those ticks, or it says that they've read it, but they've not replied. And what can happen there is we might start to make predictions or assumptions or jump to conclusions. Oh my gosh, what have I done? Why hasn't this person replied? Have I done so? And suddenly, before you know it, you've then created another masterpiece in your mind, which could look like this piece of Lego. So now you have a piece of Lego for a situation that actually is beyond your control, and another situation that might be related to something completely different, which could be related to the fact that I've not done enough exercise this week, and these are all the thoughts related to that. Or something later on in the day happens where you then feel like you have not done enough in your day. And then suddenly a lot of those common thoughts and unhelpful thoughts come about, and now you have a grand masterpiece, an even bigger car here made out of Lego that is now stacking on top of all of these other thoughts that you've had throughout your day. So now you see how much of a heavy load this could feel. I mean, this is just Lego that I'm holding, and it feels quite heavy. But your mind then becomes so fuzzed, and physically in your body, you could feel lots of tension, fatigue. You start to feel quite tired because actually you're not present. And this is the issue with thoughts. The thoughts can be, a lot of them can be about the future, or the past. So the future could be related to what if this person doesn't speak to me again? Or what if I don't lose this weight? What if my blood sugar levels don't fall? And I've eaten just about 10 minutes ago. Well, actually, you've probably not given yourself that time for the body to do its job, for those levels to fall back, for the insulin to kick in. Your friend might have been busy at work and has not had a chance to reply, or as sometimes we all do, we look at our phones, we mean to reply and we get distracted. So where's the rational part, of that thought process, which we often don't stop and, do, if you like. That irrational side kicks in, and before you know it, we fast forward to next week, and it's the friend we have now imagined that friendship to have ended, even though it's not going to end. But you see the power of thoughts. It just takes you down that journey. And this is what happens when we are not present, because really, in reality, our suffering can often come not only because of our thoughts about the future, about the past. Both things we cannot kind of control or change, because the past has happened, the future we can't predict or control. But what we can do is focus on the here and the now. And this is where therapy comes in. This is what I do as a therapist, as a psychologist, is teach people how to learn the skills to focus on the present and not so much on the future or the past. And what the research shows is that we spend about 80% of our day in either end of these spectrums, the past or the future. And that does not serve us. It actually creates more suffering. And then what happens is we then get this masterpiece of a racing car, which is like our mind, and we end up with this car, a racing car that just takes over. It takes over our day, it can take over our week, and before you know it, it takes over your life. And then what happens is that, you end up being in the sort of passenger seat of the mind. And it's the thoughts and the mind that starts controlling the way in which you decide to live your life, or how much you're going to engage in those goals, how much you're going to believe in yourself when it comes to those goals. But what therapy will do is it will help you to sit in that driver's seat and help you to manage those thoughts by noticing those thoughts, reframing those thoughts, and moving your life in the direction that's going to help you create that rich and meaningful life. Because ultimately, that's probably what we all want as human beings, is that freedom from suffering, become unstuck from our thoughts that are holding us back, creating these unhelpful emotions and sensations in the body, which we try to get rid of or we try to push away. And we end up doing things that actually are not healthy for us, whether that's alcohol, whether that's substance misuse, whether that's eating a lorry load of chocolate, all these things that release those happy hormones temporarily we engage in, they then become a habit. And before you know it, it creates more physical and mental health problems. And all because of these masterpieces of all these thoughts that have accumulated in the mind over time. So, if you would like freedom from your thoughts, then please take a look at the worksheet below and begin to understand the patterns of thoughts that you might be in that might be holding you back. Feel free to leave a comment below, any questions, any further information you would like, or send me an email. Look at the website and really try to learn more about how you can be in the driver's seat of your thoughts, which will help you to be in the driver's seat of your emotions and the actions that you decide to take. I hope you found this video useful, and I hope it helps you to really better understand how the mind and the thoughts kind of interact and work, and that actually thoughts are not facts, but all this time they have felt really, really real. Now it's time to really, gain freedom from these thoughts, because it is possible, and there is evidence and psychological tools to help you make those changes. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again.